Hey everybody, Rhadamant here. Thanks for tuning in to episode 11 of RimWorld Survival. So, quick recap of my goals. You all had the opportunity to vote last week, and the new goals added to my docket are tea house and gazebo, a rec room, dining room, and opening the ancient danger. Additionally, you all voted about 50% of the votes were for ignoring the fact that radiation affects on the overworld tiles. So what I did is I removed the proximity penalties for settling next to neighbors. All right, so let's get going. If I want a tea house and a rec room, I'm going to have to free up some additional space. So that is my next task here, is to sort of redesign the layout of my base a little bit to accommodate for a proper rec room, dining room, and a place to relax that's beautiful. Maybe combining the two. I'm not sure if that's a violation of the goals, given that they're remarkably similar. But I guess I'm somewhat the narrator, so it might be up to me to decide. Alright, so we have Stormy researching. Tony is smoothing out stones. And I think what I'm going to do is cancel most of this, as there's other things that I deem a little bit more important for her to do. Another thing I wanted to do is the granite wall here. I wanted to be a granite door, and that way we can travel through it if we need to. And James is going to get to work on expanding our kitchen area considerably. All right, I need a place to put batteries because I am going to further redesign the base a bit. So I'm going to put my batteries temporarily there. And I'm going to remove my pod launcher so that we can keep it a little bit better protected. That's a lot of chat bubbles. I wonder how the rivalry is going. Alright, for now I'm going to leave the chem fuel where it is. It will deteriorate, but not fast enough to worry me at all. Let's put the power cables into the wall rather than right on the floor, which is beautifying, and expanding the home zone to include some of these projects. So the idea here is this will be my rec dining room, as big as it can be. The biorefinery determines the edge of the dining room here, obviously. And as you can see, I have been mining out a great bit of the walls and base here, so that I can double wall it and double insulate it. And that will be something I'm going to do pretty soon. All right, so let's go ahead and reinstall these chairs. And also do a quick health check. Jane's here. What I'm going to do is unrestrict you. You're the best repairer. And I'm going to irradiate you so that I can repair my power grid. Now that I have an infinite chem reactor, it is very tempting to have chem fuel generators, which will, I'll be allowed to build my power grid indoors, which is a huge boost. And then additionally, they produce heat, which is also pretty awesome. So that's food for thought. Let's put a lamp in here. Good old ugly standing lamps. And then this... Alright, let's see. Just sort of brainstorming. Marble door. Alright, as you can see, I am changing the footprint of the kitchen a bit. Aggro, your mood is a little low, isn't it? Another thing I could add is a fermenting barrel. Let's put that in there. Nested between the comms console and the vent. Why not? Alright, getting my double insulation on. Creating a lot of marble blocks. Now that gas operation is done, auto doors. Another thing I wanted to address before I forget is I had, quite honestly, an insane amount of feedback about adding in things that help me resist radiation. Like a radiation suit or rad pills or something of that nature. And I just wanted to definitively say, no, I will not be doing that. And that's because the whole point of this challenge, the whole challenge in this series, is that radiation is hard to deal with. And if I add in a suit like that, or pills, or something of that nature, it removes the challenge, which then makes the challenge pointless. Which is exactly why I will not be doing it. If you want it done, you can add it yourself once the mod is released, but it's not something I'm going to be doing for obvious balancing reasons. And I just wanted to say it once so I don't have to keep leaving comments to the 50 plus suggestions about radiation suits. It got a little extreme to the point where I was just sort of copying and pasting responses, if I'm being honest. So yes, that is definitely how I feel about that. And I'm not likely to change my mind about that, so there you go, I suppose. Alright, changing the no radiation zones a bit. We're going to get a little bit more radiated, deconstructing these. Let's just build this quick. I don't want my radiation to climb into the 40s. Build it from the other side. Additionally, I was going to put some power in there. And that way I can turn off the smelter from a distance. All right. All right. At this point, this could be turned off as well. I'm going to want a shelf, a marble shelf, to keep my teas and the like from being ugly. So let's add a door in here and walls like this. Good. And a marble, it doesn't matter. Shelves don't benefit from construction materials, so marble isn't any nicer than wood or whatever. But because we have so much marble, we'll use marble. And I'm going to also install some lights around the base. Lights help you move a little bit faster. Yes, steel is somewhat of a rarer resource, but given that we're going to be traveling through here, I also want to create auto doors in that corridor. Alright, so storage here will be for manufactured drugs for beer and tea. And soon we'll have some beer. It's going to be warm beer, but hey, beer is beer, right? Alright, let's go ahead and change this no radiation zone to not include the spots that would harm us. Good. And then fix the home zone. Very nice. Now, nothing bad has happened in a while, so I'm kind of, worried. Meteorite of limestone. Usually when there's nothing bad, something bad is about to happen, in my experience. Alright, and we can leave this door open, and this allows us to have a proper dining room / rec room. There will be... Eventually I'll be able to put in maybe billiards in there. If I adjust... Alright, so wooden let's do a marble billiards table. We don't have enough wood though, so for now... We don't even have enough wood for poker. Alright, well, that's just an obvious need for a trade route, right? Alright. I'm having Janes here crank out some backup meals so that if I have a solar flare, I don't go hungry like I did last time. And once they're in, I'll forbid them. So 24 meals should be enough for really any length of a solar flare. All right. Now these steel stools, I was planning on replacing them with marble because we have a lot more marble than steel. And we'll do that with the chess table and horseshoe pin and table. Obviously this is not where it's going to be laid out. So we'll have Jane start working on that. And this isn't exactly what a tea house or gazebo is. So what I'm going to do is drink my tea in there, but also have a spot out here or some other overhead mountain area where we can sort of relax. I just have to figure out where that might be. Still working on the auto door research. Alright, chess table's going to take a long time. And this frees up some steel to allow me to make auto doors or whatever really I wish with the additional resources. Checking everyone's health. Jane's is at minor. Aggro is on initial. Stormy's on initial. Tony's on initial. As you can see, it takes a lot longer for radiation to subside, which penalizes me a lot more than it does our would-be raiders. Alright, and now that we've got the stools to replace, lay them out so that we can eat with a table, so we don't get that without a table debuff. And probably not going to let Tony finish off that chess table. Oh, well, you can make progress on it as long as you don't fail. But even if we fail, it's not that big of a deal, given that marble is not a resource that I'm all that limited on. Alright, so we have enough to fill the fermenting barrel with 25 wort, which is great. And now we're making some additional wort. Alright, Janes, time for you to take over. Marble chest table takes a long time. Crafting all those components and all that. Alright, another thing I want to do is to beautify this area. Which means opening it up, making it larger. Alright, expand, no radiation. Ooh, a ship part. And that's actually not that far from me. It's not super close, but if I needed to, I could definitely make use of the ship. Wow, don't botch everything, Tony. We're gonna need the meds. Janes, are you going crazy? No, you're okay for now. Almost done. Okay, auto doors are done. Let me think for just a moment. Double strand wouldn't be terrible to get started. We would need a second grow light, but that might come in handy. Drug production isn't a terrible thing either. Flak armor is pretty useful. Prosthetics might be the route I go. Actually, let's just start on the multi-analyzer. We know that we're going to want it, and that's a pretty high required thing. Okay, so the excellent chess table is great. It will provide faster recreation than the good one. And now I am sort of planning on expanding the outside patio. Whether we call it a tea house or not, I don't really care. I just know that we can make it larger. I also have to be cognizant of the edge of the map because we are just about at the edge. With my new auto doors, I want to add in some steel auto doors, and I'll add them in here, like that. This is a really weird way to run power, but should be fine. Let's see. No radiation zone. So we're walling it off. This spot here, of course, could be used to house our pod launcher in the future. I'm not worrying about that just yet. but it is food for thought. Some cargo pods of herbal meds. Again, not that far from this exit. So Tony has initial Stormy. Stormy can go for it when Stormy's awake. That's a fair amount of herbal meds worth going for sure. All right, and what I'm doing up here is walling up sort of the area so that it all becomes more beautiful. We're gonna try to beautify the area around here. I'm gonna forbid that door for now. And then of course all this will become home zoned. And then working out here will be beautiful. You know, we'll have its benefits. Stormy, you are all set. We're gonna unrestrict you. Have you run out to the edge here. And I'm actually gonna caravan it this time. I know some of you are opposed to caravanning, but it has its... I don't like the pickup and haul mod, despite the fact that people vehemently suggest it over and over and over and over. Actually, the pickup and haul mod would, I think, be particularly bad for this playthrough, only because characters that are unrestricted could end up outside and endanger themselves a lot. Restrict back to no radiation. What's weird is my zone restrictions are not showing up here. Oh, because you're caravanning. Oops. That would be obviously why. Alright, and we now have some slag to break down. And a lot of herbal meds. And what I'm going to do is put my herbal meds in here. This is where the auto door is eventually going to go, so it's really quick to get to this spot, and it's nice and kept cool. Alright, so there's my beautiful auto door. And I wanted to just do one door at a time so that we didn't end up having a gaping hole in the base, which causes plants to die. And there's the second auto door, and now we can remove the marble one. James, you do it, because Tony is really bad at construction still. And this just becomes a standard marble wall. Alright, now we can travel around the base a lot faster. Another thing I could do to beautify is to smooth out the flooring. I don't want to spend too much time in irradiated zones. But yeah, this will help beautify this area for sure. Combat supplier. Sure. I have silver and a need for weapons. Aggro, for instance, doesn't even have a gun yet. Alright, you are going to go back to no radiation. This little beacon... Is there no way to get power there? There. reinstall it down a little bit. My warden is Stormy, so Stormy, you're going to go ahead and talk to the combat supplier for me on my behalf. All right, what you got for me? We have 800 silver. I could buy a bolt action. I'm trying to think if there's anything obvious that's a lot better that is affordable, of course. I think bolt actions are probably my best bet. And then I'm also going to buy as many components as I can afford. That's a swell place for that. Alright. And re-restrict. And that's the problem with these orbital trade beacons is you never really know where stuff's going to go. Have you put that back. Yeah, let's do a quick health checkup. Radiation initial 14%, radiation initial 9, minor 21, and stormy at 8. Okay, managing it well. Is there stuff I can turn off? So our batteries are a little low. Yes, slag is going off for now. So aggro has his bolt. So we have 2 bolts, a revolver, and a knife. So as you can see, the beauty here is going up. And when we add things like statues, this can eventually I can remove all of the construction or all the benches and put them elsewhere, and turn this into the tea house pagoda. And this is, of course, the dining room that was ordered. So now I just need that trade route. And I can put my transport pods in here if I so wish. That'd be a pretty secure place for them. Nice. We're getting more tea. So let's go ahead and turn this on. And we will put the leaves here. Psychoid leaves at important priority. And this was a raw resource, plant matter, psychoid leaf. Alright, let's start making the tea. Who's my cook? Aggro. So we're down to 3 tea. And instead, yeah, drop on the floor. Perfect. That's a big old harvest. A lot of rice. Once I build up enough rice, I can do another cloth craft. One thing I haven't done is actually use my wool yet, and I just wanted to say the reason I'm not using my wool quite yet is because I'm trying to level up my crafting skills so that my wool clothing is the best it can be. All right, Tony, I need you to pop that door open. No, hold that door open. All right, there we go. That's proper ventilation now. And I believe we can smooth out all of the tiles that I've queued out, or queued up, without becoming irradiated. I just have to be careful about where they're standing. And that will keep this area as beautiful as it can be. Alright, and then zone. No radiation. This cutter is going to have to move. And this is going to have to move. All right. There we go. And now it's, the bench itself is in an irradiation zone, but we're not. So it is. All right, risk a little bit of radiation. It is as close as we're gonna get. All right, now let's clear the zone. Good. And let's see if we walk through that. If we end up walking through that a lot, I can move things so that we don't. My battery storage is back up a bit, so I can turn on the smelter again. Aggro. Oh, we're also going to need to, so that it's usable, add that in. Oh, we are seeing this dead body. That sucks. An unintended consequence, for sure. This beer is coming along. Only 3 days left. And that's about all the time I have, guys. So, just to recap, I wanted to thank all the people that have contributed feedback to this series. And everyone that ended up voting, thank you for that. If you're interested in having a patron, becoming a patron and having one of the pawns in the credit scene, that'd be great. If you've liked this series, like and subscribe, share with your friends. If you have any feedback, further feedback for me, drop me a line. If you'd like to discuss this, hop on Discord, and I'll catch you all next time. So thank you all very much for watching. Adios.